Islam. Peace, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. All right, Islam. Oh, we got Riverside up in here. That's what's up, Islam. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. All right, y'all see the topic? Today we're going to talk about the Moorish Temple of America. Is it just another church? The people are saying it. Some of the people are confused. You want to know what's going on, so we're going to discuss it. But first and foremost, we want to give praise to the Most High, Father of the universe, Allah. We want to give honors to our prophet, our divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali, for bringing us our divine creed and our nationality. We wouldn't even know we were Moorish Americans if it wasn't for us, okay? He deemed us Moorish Americans. Do you know how significant that is? I hope you do. And we want to give honors to the forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, for preparing the way for our prophet. All right? We want to give honors and praise to the first Supreme Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Temple of America, Emily Ill. Excuse me. Also, want to pay honors to my brother, to the current Supreme Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Temple of America, Brother D. Belly Ill. We want to give honors to all the members of the Moorish Temple of America, to all the members in leadership, to the Grand Council, the Grand Body. We want to give honors to all the Moorish organizations out there, everyone, all the active Moors out there, okay? And also want to give honors to everyone for tuning in. And because I know you're going to hit that like button. You're not just going to watch it. You're not ashamed. You're not ashamed to hit the like button. You're proud to be a Moor. So you're going to hit like and share it. And for that, I definitely want to give honors to you, because you're helping to spread this information. You're tuning in, so you know it's important. The people need to know what's going on, especially in light of the climate that we're in. You can't forget how serious things are right now, right? You can't. Trump ain't gonna let you forget all the craziness and things that are going on. Not gonna let you forget, right? So we can't just pretend it's all good, all is well. All right? Nationality truly is the order of the day. And thank you for tuning in. And also, like I said before, thank you for sharing this, for helping to just, share it with your family and friends. Get the information out there. The people need to know. The people want to know. Okay? And now that I've gotten that out the way, go ahead and start speaking on the topic. Okay? So, once again, just make sure you hit like and hit share. Don't just watch this. That's all I'm asking. Just hit like and share. So, what are we talking about? Right? You got a lot of people out there who feel like the Moorish Temple of America isn't even useful anymore. They just want to trash it, just want to junk it, throw it all away, because it's been infiltrated, because, literally, I saw a post just yesterday where somebody was acting like the temple was so messed up that he needs to bring up charges against it, and he was just going on. And the guy that was saying that, he's like on that sovereign citizen mess. But I'm just saying that to say there's like people who are like riding hard against the temple, So we're going to discuss that. All right. Islam. Once again, to everybody coming in here. All right. Make sure you hit like and share. Just hit like and share. All right. And we're going to have this discussion. Okay. So, I feel like I'm qualified to speak on this because I understand where all these people that are like riding hard against the temple, I understand where they're coming from because I understand the information that they're dealing with. So it's not like they're on some level, that I can't get or can't comprehend. I'll just pause for 1 second. Somebody said they're in Nebraska. Is there a temple near me? Go to mstofa.net. mstofa.net. Go there. Go to the locator and just contact home office in Chicago, because there may be a study group near you and you don't see it on there. And even if it isn't, just join home office, right? And the home office that's in Chicago. So back to what I was saying. So we have people riding hard against the temple, but as you can see just from the comments, a lot of people are realizing that's not really the way to go. But we're going to talk about it, okay? Because this is real, and like I said, I can understand the information that people who are like advising others not to mess with the temple and who are just like going hard against the temple. I can understand where they're coming from because they're not, speaking anything foreign to me. Like I know the information they're dealing with because these people, just like me and just like most of you, found out about their nationality online, in the streets, because I've been on this since before the internet blew up. Okay? And the brother just asked about the consular courts or whatever. Look. Okay, I'll pause one more time. I'll address that real quickly. I don't advise anybody mess with that stuff. The people that are doing it right now, let them do it. See what they're going to do. See how it works out for them. Okay, and the reason I say that is because there's some Moorish American consulates.org or some website. And I guess that's like the main site because like the main dudes that are like the leaders out here pumping that, they're all on there. So go there, peruse through the information on there. And they have some questionable stuff on there, man. Like they frequently ask questions and things like that. They're dealing with, they're addressing people's child support issues, their criminal cases, people getting their car repossessed. They're addressing things like that and acting like it's a big deal. Like that's what we as a nation need right now to help these people who are trying to get over and trying to, get out of trouble and things they've gotten themselves into. They're treating that like it's a national issue. And then also they're advising people to file liens against a whole bunch of different government officials. They're advising people to file liens against the IRS and all these different things. And that's crazy. There was a lady in Chicago who filed liens, like following that type of advice. She filed liens against a bunch of different officials, and she wound up getting 7 years in prison. Okay? And I'm not making that up. That's real, right? And so that's disingenuous. It's dishonest. That is, I can't really think of the word I'm trying to say, but it's just like it's really irresponsible to advise people to do things like this, to be out here pumping that. No, they're pumping that on their website, brother. It's on their site. They're telling people to file these liens. Okay? If they didn't have, like, you go to the Moorish Science Temple of America website. They don't have anything on there advising you to file these liens against these different officials. That's what they're telling people to do on the consulate websites. That is very, very irresponsible. Okay? Very irresponsible. The lady who got 7 years in Chicago, she's just one example. Okay? It doesn't work. All right? And if you have people getting locked up behind it, and then you have that on your website telling people to do it, something's wrong. That's entrapment. But I have a little street in me. I'm not sitting up here acting like I was some big time drug dealer or something like that. Hell no. But I'm just saying, I have enough street sense, enough common sense to know something ain't right. When you see people who are moving, like undercover feds, and they're coming in trying to knock down a legitimate movement. Something that is just about picking us up, fixing our conditions. They're coming in trying to get you off into a whole bunch of other stuff. You know, and I understand. You're looking at it, you think, oh, that's the way to go. They're helping people. They have court cases. They're helping them get it dismissed. Anyone can do that, bro. You don't have to be a Moor to study the law. No one is getting cases dismissed because of their indigenous status. Okay? People are flooding courts arguing jurisdiction, and that's causing issues with the courts who already don't know how to deal with that. But guess what? They're adapting, bro. They're adapting because everyone is putting this stuff out here, and when you're putting your stuff out here and you're not playing chess, you're not being calculated like, we're not gonna do that yet, we're not gonna do this yet. No, everyone's just doing everything. You're giving them the ammo that they need. So not only are they turning around and putting terrorist labels on people, but they're also preparing, like, how do we deal with this? Because they weren't used to people coming in here saying all of this stuff and doing all these things and moving like that in court. You just had a few, and it was mostly people of European descent. See, that's the thing. You know, it was people of European descent doing what the Moors are doing now. All right? And so just giving them strategies. They're like, okay, we do need to have something to combat that. All right? And so that's what's real. That's what's real. And I got distracted for a little bit because, you know, I want people to know, but everybody's not going to get it because some of the people already know everything. All right? And that's the problem, you know, because, like, for the most part, I've already come across the information you have. All right? Like the brother just said, your platform's just for the religious aspects of being a Moor, and that's ignorant because you think building businesses, building up your economic base is just the religious part? No. I'm about the realistic, practical ways of improving our society, our system, not the fantasy mess. I'm not foolish and I'm not stupid, so I know that filing paperwork isn't going to magically change things. And that would be foolish to think that you don't have to actually own businesses. You don't have to have your own banking system. You don't have to work with each other and build. That would be foolish to think we're going to just file these liens. We're going to take over by everybody trying to beat their court cases. You don't have to pay child support. You could do that. Come on, man, that's trifling. And it appeals to people who have trifling issues. If you don't want to deal with your issues in a practical manner, you want to just try to file some paperwork and try to get out of it, that's how it appeals to you. And that has nothing to do with building a nation at the end of the day. Okay? And to file charges, we're going to file charges against them. You have to have some might to back it up, brother. It doesn't matter how much paperwork you have. Let's be real and practical. And that's what this platform is for. So if you don't agree with that, you don't think that you need to build up your economic base and do the realistic, practical things that don't work overnight. It takes realistic time in the real world. If you don't think that's a good thing, you probably shouldn't watch this. You know, because I deal in the real world. I deal in the metaphysical too. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how spiritual we are over here. We still hustling, we still working, we still successful, and we're still raising our children and doing the things that we need to do. You know, I'm not just going to go hand my child a piece of paper that says food on it and be like, oh, he's good. No, he needs real food. And so you can't just file these liens, these charges, we're going to do this, this, and that on paper in court. You can't just do that. That needs to be backed up with actual action, real action. These people will act like you don't need to participate in government, right? And this all kind of ties into the topic, even though I got distracted. I'm going to pull it back. But this ties into it because it exposes the fallacies, the emphasis that stage of thinking is in, that stage of thinking of approaching things is kind of immature. It's not really looking at the real picture. We need to be real. We need to be real. Especially in this day and time. You know? So you can't just act like we could just file this paperwork because we found out. Now we know what the white sovereign citizens were doing, white, right? We know what these Europeans were doing. We got this information they were doing in the 70s and 80s. And so now we gonna do it. It's like, dude, because guess what? Those Europeans that are doing it, that were doing it back then, that are still doing it now, they have militias all over the country. Real armies. They go and train, even though you don't know this stuff. Because we're not doing it like that. You don't know. They go meet in the woods. They're training. They're being self-sufficient. They're doing all types of stuff. They're working politically. Like, they pool their finances together. Maybe have like a little organization like the NRA or something like that that participates at the governmental level. Okay? Where they actually... Maybe this is too much information because the people, to me, who really think all you gotta do is file some liens, you're probably not even gonna be able to follow this. And I'm not trying to insult people, but just being real. Like the Europeans, that the stuff that you got it came from, they participate at a bigger level. So they do the paperwork stuff that you're doing. Plus they put in, their money where their mouth is, participating in politics. They have lobbyists who are out here getting laws and things made. Right? And like I said, this may be too much for some of these people. But they participate at that level too. And they got guns. And they're doing the things to be self-sufficient. Now, the people who are just filing the liens, that's all they're doing. That's all they're doing. They're not, growing their own food. They're not, building their own military, and they're not paying off, officials and politicians and things, getting things done at that level. They're not doing none of that. All right? They are not doing any of that. Yes, like the lady said, they've been prepping. That's what they call themselves. A lot of people call themselves preppers. So they've been doing that, right? And so, I hate to point out, how behind and backwards, people that look like me are, but it's the truth, man. Y'all backwards. Y'all backwards. You're baby steps, bro. You're baby steps. You just found out about the sovereign citizen stuff, so you're trying to run with that. But you know now that sovereign citizen is a negative term, so y'all, we not sovereign citizens, but you dealing with the same info. You talking at UCC, any of that stuff, same info. I know about that stuff from the same places where you got it from. Plus, hey, they teach you about that stuff in business school. I know about all that. It's real. Yes, it is. What you gonna do about it? Just because you more. You think you're gonna take it down just because you got the information and you're gonna file this paperwork? Nah. It takes real work. Physical work. Spiritual work. Like somebody just said in the chat. You have to do everything on every level. All right? So it's like, I'm going to go on and toss that to the side. Hopefully the people who get it. Like, bro, it ain't good enough. You got to take it a step further. All right? Okay. So, one thing that's real important is that, like, a lot of people who are like anti-temple, who are like riding hard against it. A lot of y'all getting information from some of the brothers that I've talked to on this platform. Okay? And I can tell you for a fact, nobody that I've interviewed on here is against the temple. Nobody. All right? Like, they would advise you to find a temple near you, or if there isn't one, join and start a study group. Build with the Moors near you. Form your own temple. And I'm not calling anyone's names out in particular because I'm saying everyone I've interviewed on here, nobody that I've talked to is against the temple. But the thing is, a lot of these people out here who are riding hard against the temple, y'all running with the information from them, but you're only doing it halfway. You're not really going in and understanding. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, just go through the archives on here. Look at the videos. Look at the people we've talked to. A lot of people who have been putting out great information for years. You know, and some of the people that, you know, they'll, you know, point at somebody. Like the person just said in the chat, exactly. Even Asir and Taj tell y'all to take your behind to the temple. It's true, you know. They're not against the temple. Go look through the videos. See who's been on here. You may be surprised because these are people you've been learning from. But the problem is you're just listening. You're just listening on YouTube. You're not doing any actual research. You're not really researching. Because if you understand, you wouldn't be riding that hard and heavy with that stuff, man. As I'm telling you, none of them are against the temple. Okay? Nobody intelligent is against it. They understand. They get it. They know what the prophet came and set up and why and how it can work. All right? And so that's one of the things I do. I do advise you to go through and look through the videos. You know, see who we talk to on here. These are probably people you've been listening to and you thinking they're against the temple and they're not. You know? All right, let's look up temple before we really get into this. Let's look this up. Let's look up religion. You know, because a lot of us we're anti-religion, you know? A lot of us are, and we have good reason to be like that. You know, really good reason, right? Like we have legit reason to be against the temple. I mean, not the temple, but against religion, period. To be wary of religion and, you know, not to trust it. Okay? But when you really look at religion, the belief in worship of a superhuman controlling power, personal God or gods, particular system of faith and worship, a pursuit or interest. This is good. A pursuit or interest to which someone ascribes supreme importance. A pursuit or interest to which someone ascribes supreme importance. What's wrong with that? Right? So Islamism is our religion. It's Moorish Americans. A pursuit or interest to which someone ascribes supreme importance. Okay? And one of the main things that like a lot of, I mean, you know, people who are like outside of our community that look at what we practice, the first thing they're going to say is a big part of what Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought was about uplifting his people, you know, against racism. Okay? Because this is about removing ourselves from the system of subjugation that we're in. It's of supreme importance to us to correct ourselves, you know, inside and out. And that's something that we have to deal with. So there's nothing really wrong with even religion. We've just been, you know, anti-religion because Christianity was forced on us. And we're not talking about the ancient, you know, Ethiopians that practice Christianity. No, we're talking about Christianity as practiced over here. You know, what the Europeans brought with them, what they did when they came across the indigenous people, how they used Christianity and how they still use it all over the world. You know, it's colonialism. It's a way of sneaking in, getting the people out of their own practices and mind warping them, right? Right? It makes no sense for people like us to be Christians in this day and time. Everyone knows that it was forced on us, right? So it makes sense to be anti-religion. But when you actually look at the definition, it's like, okay, you know, a pursuit or interest to which someone ascribes supreme importance. All right? In a temple, a building devoted to worship or regarded as the dwelling place of God or gods or other objects of religious reverence. And we know that the true temple is in your own head, your own mind, right? Your pineal. So this isn't a bad thing. We just got it all twisted. Right? And this is I'm gonna hit on that too. What the person just said. But this is divide and conquer, you know. And it's one thing, like, I don't really like call out names, but one thing that you hear a lot, right? A lot of the people who are like riding hard against the temple are like dealing with the information from RV Bay Publications, right? And I'm not against RV Bay Publications, you know. Some of the information on there, cool, you know. Some of the stuff, like, there was a booklet I was reading, it was like only like 20 pages, and it was like Yaqub, or the, you know, about Yaqub and how it ties into, you know, everything. And it's like outdated, you know, and some of that stuff like wasn't really cited and sourced well. And it's just like, hey, you know, some of the stuff on there, look, if you approach it like, everything from RV Bay is on point, everything from them is perfect, it's your religion, bro. You don't even question it. You're not even critically thinking about everything that you come across. I'm reading this Yaqub stuff, and I'm like, okay, yeah, some of this stuff is cool, but they don't have no proof for none of this, basically. And then you're looking at the sources that they do have, which is good. At least they have some sources. It's all like CM Bay, you know, and just other things that is like, you know, I don't know if you can really say that's a source. You know, and some of the things, I'm just using that as an example because it's like, look, man, you shouldn't be looking at anything like it's infallible. All right? Without question. If so, it's your religion. And so one of the reasons why I was saying RV Bay is because a lot of people out here who's like riding hard against the temple, they're running with the RV Bay information. And it's like, look, I don't even know, like, I don't know if they're against the temple. Like, maybe we should have them on here or her on here to, you know, I don't know if RV Bay's the one woman or if it's a group of people or what, right? But I'm just saying, maybe we should have them on here so they can speak on this. Like, are y'all against the temple? Because a lot of the people who's running with the information they give out are against it. And that's the thing, like, you don't know if it's just the people, a lot of people who get the information and their interpretation of it leads them to think, oh, the temple, it's done, it's through, we can't work with it. Or maybe, I don't know, because, you know, I don't like I said, I don't know these people. Maybe RV Bay, you know, publications, you know, maybe they're putting that out there. Or the lady, you know, who started it or whatever, maybe, you know, she's telling people this. The temple's, you know, through. We don't need the temple. Just rock with us. I don't know. But it's probably the latter. It's probably the people, you know, getting this stuff online with your limited, you know, what a perspective, you're running against it. I don't know. It's probably the latter, though. You know, maybe we should speak with them. Because I'm telling you, with the people who've been on here, none of them are against it. And a lot of people are dealing with that information and you're against it. Okay? And you don't even know really what you're dealing with. All right? It's like this. Okay? If the temple was useless, like some of you believe, I guess you think you could just roll with that publication company and just be good. If the temple was useless, it would be propped up. I'm going to be real with you about the state of the temple right now. All right? So just listen. And especially some of you guys who think you know everything, just listen. All right? This is what's really going on in the temple. All right? The temple came under attack. All right? It was infiltrated. Yeah, we know that. Okay? Just like all organizations is about our progression, you know, were infiltrated and attacked. It's come under attack. It's still under attack. You have all this disinformation being put out. Just like somebody said in the chat earlier, divide and conquer techniques, you know, are hot and heavy now, right? Okay, so the temple is still under attack, and it still hasn't reached its potential, all right? And it's kind of in disarray, to be real and honest about it. That's the current status, right? Okay, so if the temple was useless, why is it under attack? Is the church under attack? No, it's not. It's propagated. It's held up, all right? No attack. It's cool. Listen, if you go to church, they offer services. They have things that you can expect from all different churches. Doesn't matter what state or city you're in. You can go in there and expect them to be able to do X, Y, and Z for you, and they can do it. Why? Because they're not under attack. Because they don't have forces, people, active, real life, physical people working to keep it in disarray. Okay? The temple is not like that. All right? It's not. The temple is in a state where you can't really come in expecting it to be able to do what it was doing in the prophet's time. All right? If you come in there expecting that, you're going to be turned off and be like, oh, man, you know, they supposed to have me. You know, you have to, it's the opposite. You have to come in and get to work. Some temples you may go into, there may only be a handful of people. It's the opposite of church. There's no mega temples out here. There's no, like you see Joel Osteen and all these other people on TV, and it's just like a stadium packed full of people. It's the opposite. There may be a handful of people in there. There's no way they can do all the things that the temple is supposed to be doing right now. You have to come in there and make it happen. But there's something at work to keep you out of there. And you people who are so smart aren't even smart enough to see that. Duh, you should be able to see that for yourself. It's at work, and you are a part of the system. It's like the Matrix with the Agent Smith. You know, he can just go inside of anyone. So if you're dealing with this disinformation to keep you out of this thing that was created by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, he said, if the temple's not right, he's not right. If the prophet's not right, the temple's not right. Right? So he created this for you. It came under attack. It's still in disarray. Why? Because Moors are waking up right now. And while in the 70s, they may not have had to put a lot of resources and finances towards keeping you out of the temple, because our people were rolling hard with Afro-American, black, right? But now, okay, it's different. People are starting to think about this and think outside the box, and there's nothing they can do about it. So what? We put a million different things out there. If there's Moors that look like us who's willing to go along with it and lead their people astray, break them off some money. Prop them up. You know, give them a brand new website. Give them some money. Let them do it. So they're out here and they want to keep you away from it. And it's working. As you can see, some of the people typing in here right now are like robots. Anti-temple. Anti-temple. Everything they do, it's like they just like been programmed so hard they can't even think. They can't even entertain the possibility that maybe this is by design. You know? Everything they say is like somebody telling them what to say. No matter what, you against it. Oh, he just about religion. What have I said about religion? Dude, how does building up your finances and doing the real physical work, how is that only religion? We just talked about what religion is, and that just deaded everything. What is religion? You know? The pursuit of something that's of supreme importance to you. So you can't attack that. Right? So, like I'm saying, these people, they don't even realize it. Watch them type something else. That's why I got the live chat up so you can see. Some of these people, they just robots, man. They gonna come back again. Anti-temple. What can I say against the temple? They gonna type it again. Watch. They can't control themselves. And so you don't even realize that whole Agent Smith thing from the Matrix, that's you, bro. That's you. The disinformation gets in your head and you rolling hard with it. It's called psychology. It's called mind programming. You have been programmed to think a certain way. All right? And so somebody said how to start a temple. I'm going to answer that and get back to what I was saying. Start the temple. Join the temple. Join the official Moorish Science Temple of America. I'm going to say go to mstofa.net, right? But you can join the Moorish Science Temple of America. You can start a Muslim mission where you're at. They would call that in the past, they call them study groups. But you start a Muslim mission where you're at. And then eventually you get an actual temple. You get the charter. All right? And maybe I'll answer the questions later, but I have to say this, because a lot of the stuff, like I'm saying, a lot of the stuff that's getting typed in the chat, I can't speak on that because it's just the robotic anti-temple, no matter what I'm saying. Even though the stuff I'm saying about the real physical work that needs to be done, the economic system, participating in government, woo, I can't believe people are dumb enough to try to act like we don't need to be paying these politicians. We don't need to be getting them to bargain with us. We're going to throw you this support. You're going to throw this to us. You got to do it. Everyone does it. The people want to act like that's not real. But the people that they're getting the information from, the real sovereign citizens, the Europeans, they're doing all that. Like we were saying earlier, they're prepping. They're doing it all. They building, you know what I'm saying? They're in the woods hunting, shooting, practicing for war, and they growing their own food, doing all that stuff, and they paying off the politicians, doing everything, right? So they participating in all that, and they doing the stuff you doing. And I'm not saying that to, act like we stupid or nothing, but if you dealing with that, it is what it is, okay? Because y'all only dealing with that. You're not doing the whole thing, right? And so this is important because when the people come in there with that anti-temple stuff, you don't realize you have been indoctrinated. I'm not knocking it. Maybe we've all been indoctrinated to a degree, but, you have to recognize, you got to open your mind. You can't be so stuck in ways. It's just like I was saying with the RV Bay example I was using. I see something on there. I'm reading it. I see some information that's kind of janky. That's the terminology I'm using, but I'm looking at it because it's not very scholarly. And I'm like, nah. No, I'm not just going to just take everything, because they said it. No, they got some stuff that they dealing with that ain't on point, ain't locked tight. And if you think everything coming from that source is locked tight, you've been indoctrinated. You are now a robot. It's just like, if you believe everything that anyone says, I don't care how great of a speaker they are, I don't care how many books they've written, if you just believe every word that comes out of their mouth, that's your Jesus. And you are a robot. And you've been indoctrinated. And that's how it works. Okay, so you have to be able to think outside the box. And so if you riding so hard against the temple that you can't help yourself, even with the practical, real stuff I'm saying, you still anti-temple. You got to just type your messages up there every second. You've been indoctrinated. Look, there's real resources. I know you don't understand this. There's a real black budget where, money goes towards fighting things or suppressing things. Okay? And that black budget, some of that money is going towards suppressing this movement. This Moorish Divine and National Movement. Right? Okay, so there's actual money that gets put, or finances, meaning resources, meaning real people whose job is they get paid to help suppress our movement. Which is publicly they cannot attack it because publicly, see, that's where we differ. Publicly, I'm a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I'm about love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I'm not out here on some foolishness. I'm about picking myself up, my community. I'm about living right personally, getting my family and everything right, and then showing and proving, being industrious, things that I'm not going to sit up here and say on YouTube. You don't know what type of businesses I'm doing and working with the other Moors in the temple that we're doing, because that's not for YouTube. That's for real life. I advise you to do that too. And so we do this, and that's how Moors move. And then we participate in politics, and we build up and up and up. And that's what you do off of the internet, and that's how it's done. And that's how real men move. It ain't about some, let's get together, let's file these liens. Man, come to court for me. Y'all come to support me. I'm trying to get out of this. No, that's not building a nation. That is the BS. That is the stuff that's put in here to keep it stagnant. That's the truth. Real men are going to have to be industrious. You have to be out here creating businesses, you have to be out here being successful and moving, building with other Moors on that level. And at the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters. And if you're not able to get that in your head, then you need to stay on that sovereign citizen mess. Stay on it, because you're useless. Let's just be real. Men and women need to be industrious. We have to build there. Like, you want to ignore what the prophet said. It takes finances to uplift the nation. You want to say that these finances aren't real, or something else that makes no sense, because you guys are using finances all the time, right? So we need to be participating in this and building up, and then doing trade with each other, doing trade with other nations. You can't argue with that, but that's where it's supposed to be at. And it's not there, so we have to come and build it. And that may turn people off, but that's what's got to be done. And since that's what has to be done, the things that are put out there, the resources are getting put towards keeping us in disarray, so that you don't come together and do these things and move within the movement that the prophet set up for you. That's it. It's not really rocket science, and actually it's not difficult to understand it. It's not, right? And so, yeah, somebody said the distractions from building a nation, right? And so that's true. I don't know, like, that's true, So, like, at the end of the day, that's what the temple's about. It's really about business, man. The religious aspects of it, man, you don't even really understand. Like, do we have to pull up the religion definition again? The pursuit of what is of supreme importance to you, to your nation. So religion's not even a bad thing. It's just that the way that it's been forced on us, is bad. And that's why one of the first things the prophet set up, he's letting you know, we're handing Christianity back to the European because it's for their salvation, their earthly salvation. Islamism is for our earthly and divine salvation. And as practiced by us, Moorish Americans, it really is. But you wouldn't know if you're on the outside looking in. And so there's not really a division. I don't really think all this internet stuff is real. Okay? You got to get off the internet. That's one of the first things. Because even though we may feel like, it's just free, you can find whatever you want, there's a control on what you see and what you hear. All right? And so you got to get off of there. You got to, meet people in real life. And you got to understand what the temple really is. Like, I think, like, when there's a show on here where me and Taj Tariq Bey spoke, and I think he did a good job, like, really speaking on what the situation really is with the temple. It's not. If you're thinking it's like 1928, where the prophet has all these Moors, temples in all these different states, and all these businesses going, and it's set up and it's strong, you are sadly mistaken. It's not there. We need to get it there and take it beyond, because that's the actual only thing that's going to work for us. It's not something that someone else just made up last year, like the consulate stuff that someone was asking about. Like, they just did that in like 2018, right? These other things that other people are making, that's not what's going to work. They can join the temple and move cohesively as a unit and try to figure out ways to implement, if they have actual strategies and things that will be necessary to work within that construct. Maybe, but other than that, hang on. Other than that, it's not going to work. Okay? Yeah. So, I'm distracted, but other than that, it's not going to work. These other movements that people are making up and stuff, it's not going to work. Plain and simple. All right, it's not the same, and that's why we have so much disarray, right? Because you have all these different things, and it's okay, for everybody to have their different points of view, because as a collective, there are strengths and different things that other people can bring from their perspective to the movement, or other groups, other organizations. That's cool. That's fine. But the problem comes in when you got these people who are like, okay, I'm just riding with this. Now we don't need the temple anymore. It's like, nah, man, you don't even know what the temple is. Some of you, like, for real, y'all, think you understand, but you don't know. And then if you've had a bad experience with the temple, like some of the people was typing saying like, oh, Grand Sheik, someone said a Grand Sheik was real rude to him. Who cares? This is for your salvation. Who cares? All right? Maybe you don't want to join it. Fine, I get it. But it's like, look, man, ain't nothing going to stop me from my salvation. And I'm not knocking Washita Moors. I'm not knocking New Wabian Moors. I'm not knocking any of them. Everybody needs to work together to some degree. And some people, maybe they don't need to work with us because they not about that life. They not about really trying to come up. All right? But as far as like groups and stuff, like I don't think you understand. We can all work together. There's people in the temple right now who consider themselves Washita Moors. Okay? I'm just saying, like, maybe you need to work together as a cohesive. And it's not about talk. It's not about filing these paperwork. It's not about meeting with the UN and all that stuff. It's about, for real, we need to build it up. All right? That's it. Let me see if I could post the link up in here. I'm going to post the link in the chat for the temple. Y'all go join. Go to the locator. Like, if you don't see one near you, just go in there and hit up the home office in Chicago. I'm about to post this. And hit up the home office, tell them you want to join. Right? That's what you need to do. And look, we got to put in the real work. That's it. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing, putting in that real work.
The QuickBooks Self-Employed app allows me to take a photo of my receipts.
Hang on, yeah. That's it. At the end of the day, that's... All right. So let me post this link. Hold up. All right, there's the link. So for people in the chat, just click on the link, mstofa.net. Look, I'm not trying to like change anyone's mind, because you really can't. I can't tell you what to think. Maybe some of you will see like the error in your ways, man. I'm not trying to act like I'm smarter than you or know something that you don't. It's just that like the information that people are dealing with, for the most part, I've been there, done that. Or maybe I didn't go as far as you, because I, peeped what was going on. But I've dealt with that information. I've seen it. I've come across it. And I was just saying that, first off, it was started by, Europeans, people of European descent. All right? And so, like, all that stuff that people are running with, adverse possession, all of that stuff, even going in there, and representing yourself in courtrooms and all that stuff, that's cool. You know the law, that's good. But it has nothing to do with being an indigenous Aboriginal Moor, with being a Moorish American, because anyone can do it. I'm not saying anyone can do it because everyone knows the law. I'm just saying anyone who studies, can do it. Put in a little work, you can go in there and do it. You can go in there and shut the judge up. All right? You can even argue jurisdiction. Even Europeans can do it. I've seen it. So that's all I'm saying is that people need to understand that the whole anti-Moorish Science Temple of America sentiment, this whole, kind of like a movement that's building up, that's indoctrination. That's divide and conquer. That's whatever you want to call it. It's not an original thought. Okay? You've been programmed to think like that. It's divide and conquer. Because I wouldn't sit up here and be like, the Washita and all these people are bad. We don't need to work with them. Yeah, right. We need to build. That should be common sense. So people, recognize if you have any thoughts in your head, you're being indoctrinated. It's not all good. The temples need a lot of work. The temples need you to come in there. If you have, intelligence, wisdom, if you're hardworking, if you're for real about building up your nation, you need to come on and fix it. Somebody just said Willie Lynch chip in the brain. It's true. Even though you think you're, awake or whatever you want to call it, conscious, you're still being indoctrinated. Okay? Because we're being studied all the time, from a psychological perspective. Shout out to brother Aline Bay. We actually met Aline Bay years ago in Fayetteville while we was on the way to Brazil, about to move out the country. So shout out to him, man. All right. I see you in the chat. But back to what I was saying. People don't even realize we're being studied all the time. Okay? And even though we may think no one's paying attention to us, really knowing what we got going on, there's government think tanks whose whole job is to figure out what we're up to and how they can eke out some more time. All right? How they can get some more time to rule. How can we keep them distracted? Because at this point, that's all it is. It's just how long can we keep them distracted? Because at this point, all the wheels have fallen off. Okay? I know this is going to sound out there for some of y'all. There's huge cigar-shaped spaceships all over the place, right? They talked about this Oumuamua thing that came through last year. And then, like, a couple months ago, some Harvard scientists said there's like hundreds of them in our solar system. And they're not just saying it, they got photos of it from the Hubble spacecraft, the telescope. They got photos and videos, okay? Gigantic cigar-shaped craft. Metallic, because they know that they're shiny, they reflect light. The wheels have fallen off. I don't want to get too far off into that because we, from a practical perspective, we have to work. Don't hear what I'm saying and think, oh, I don't have to work. I don't have to do nothing. It's like, come on, we have to work. Okay? We have to work. We have to build. We have to build it. Okay? So that's what I'm saying. Like, the wheels have fallen off. And I mean, the stuff that you see is going on with Trump, we see a lot of infighting. They can't get along. Things are falling apart. We see the reports about the world population. Here in the United States, the European population is dwindling down so low, that they're at a negative birth rate, right? There's more deaths than there are births. They're having their own crack epidemic with the opioids and the heroin, right? And they're killing themselves. And I'm not sitting up here saying this to dump on them because I'm not dumping on anyone. I'm just saying things are changing. Who's the dude? Liam Neeson, the actor. He just came out talking about how he messed up. Talking about how his lady he knew said she was raped by an Asiatic man and he wanted to kill. He actually was walking around just wanting somebody to provoke him, an Asiatic, so he could kill him. And he probably did career suicide by saying that. And the reason I bring that up is because that wouldn't have been the case 40 years ago. He could have said that. Just like, they can't say the N-word. A lot of people are committing career suicide left and right. The founder of Papa John's, the board, the governing board for Papa John's, they basically silenced him because he keeps saying foolish things about race, dealing with us. You know, he keeps saying foolish things. It's hurting the company. Papa John's sales are down. The NFL cut ties with them. The reason I bring that up is because they were able to say these things just 30 years ago. There was a guy, the governor of Virginia. I don't know his name, but he just, you know, somebody discovered some old yearbook photos, you know, with somebody in blackface standing next to someone with a KKK costume. And, you know, they're like, this is you. And he's like, yeah, I'm sorry. And then he comes back the next day and says, no, that wasn't me. I did blackface, but I was just pretending to be Michael Jackson. And they're calling for him to resign, you know. But the thing is, like, when they were talking about it on NBC, they're like, well, in the 80s, this wouldn't even have been a big deal. In the 70s, it wouldn't even have been discussed. And in the 60s, 54, it wasn't a problem. Lyndon B. Johnson said the N-word, you know? It wasn't a problem. You think Trump can say the N-word and be recorded saying it and still be president? Come on, man. Things have changed. So the only reason I shared that, not to get off the subject, is because the wheels have fallen off. So at this point, they're just trying to get more time. We have everything. It was brought to us. We have everything. We're supposed to step up, do our things so that we can take over while the wheels are still turning. So we don't have to start over from square one. They're still here. We still have everything. There's plenty of us who work in government, who work in all fields of industry. We're supposed to step up and take our rightful place. But there is a force, there are people who are trying to keep us, you know, in disarray so that we don't do it, so that they can pretend to rule for longer. And that's basically what's going on. So if you're anti-temple, you're working with that force, whether you realize it or not. For the people who's coming here late, just rewind back and watch. Make sure you share this, because pretty much deaded that in the beginning of the video, just pointing out how foolish it is to be anti-temple. It's just like if I'm sitting up here anti-gods and earths, anti-Nation of Islam, anti all these people. Yeah, right. Okay, if they're progressive, I don't even care if they want to refer to themselves as black. They're progressive, I'm with you. I could work with you, right? So the people who are like that, they don't realize they've been indoctrinated. And one of the reasons I brought that up is because resources have been put towards studying us, towards keeping us confused. Not even, and it's being done all over the place, but it's specifically us here in North America, because it's us. It's known. We're the head. We're the head of the snake. We're the head of the whatever you want to call it. It's on us. Okay? That's why the prophet, came from among us. It's our time. All right? And if we remain in disarray, if we don't put in the work, if you're turned off, like somebody said in the chat, they were turned off because they tried to talk to a Grand Sheik and he was rude. And so you like, well, forget that. I'm not knocking it because I feel you. Like, I don't have time to be messing with people either. But the thing is, there's a greater purpose, Do you want your children to have to figure this out when things are even crazier, even worse off? When things have fallen even farther? When the Europeans, they're always showing these Hollywood films, these Armageddon scenarios where everything has fallen, all the buildings are decrepit, there's no electricity, none of this stuff anymore. Are you trying to wait until things fall that far? Like we said, the Europeans that are practicing all this sovereign stuff that everyone's running with, they're not just practicing it. They are participating in government. They are growing their own food. They're out there prepping. They're shooting, making sure they got their little military, militia skills up, right? And so they're prepping for civil war. I've seen some of them talk that stuff on YouTube and in real life. Okay, I'm telling you, like, you're not there. The consulates and all these things, they're not there. They're just dealing with one thing. They're not growing their food and participating in trade and having their own little community set up, so that if it falls apart, they got people they can trade with. They're not at that level. You can't run with that, man. You can't run with that. Your people, whoever you follow or listen to, this like telling you all we gotta do is follow these lanes and do this stuff, they are not. They're not there. They're not prepping. They're not at that level. They're not. Okay? I can tell you with certainty, they're not. Matter of fact, there's no one that looks like us who's at that level. I'm not even trying to be funny because it's not. You have to be real, man. If you like me and you doing your thing, you successful, you got family, you got to be on point. You can't be out here following any foolishness. I'm not running with you. I'm not running with you because you not there. So I'm telling you to say that none of these groups, nobody is at that point. Okay? And so we can't afford to be in disarray any longer, and you can't afford to follow the program that is designed to keep you out of the temple. Come on in, and only if you agreeable, man, only if you ready to build. Come on in and build it up. Do what it's supposed to do. Let's get these businesses popping. Let's work with each other. All we have to do is just trade with each other. Just these people just the people among the people who see themselves as Moors, all we have to do is trade and work with each other, and we have a financial empire right now, And I understand, like, that's why I'm saying, like, some of this stuff, this is about all we can say online. You got to do it for real in the real world, And the only reason I even said what I said, because some of y'all asking, what we supposed to do. It's like, yeah, that's what we supposed to do. Off the internet. Okay? That's what you need to be doing in your temples. Off the internet. You don't get in there and say, oh, he was rude to me, so I ain't going to do this. Get in there and do it. Okay? And if he's not, acting according to the principles, guess what? He could be removed. Whoever that is. The people that's in the temple, even in leadership, if they stagnant, they're not doing what their job is, they can be removed and appoint someone else. And then don't be so shell-shocked. We've been at war. Don't be so messed up from what we've experienced that you're not ready to move forward. Okay, because it's some things, like I was saying, if we don't get it right, it's going to be on our children. And at the state that it is now, not going to be passing wisdom down to them. You're going to be passing down confusion. The same problems from 30 years ago, 40 years ago, still here. There's still the disarray, Nah, it's time to dead all that. Dead all that. Okay? And if you legit, you about working together. You're not trying to be like, oh, now the temples now. You're not trying to down any of that. If you're real, you recognize what time it is. And you're not trying to act like filing this stuff is going to change anything. You know better. We got to build, regardless. And this something I said before, but I'm just going to say it again. That's not a magic bullet. Okay? I know why it appeals to people. It's easy. There's no way around building up our own businesses economically, being, diligent, working hard. There's no way around that. And fixing ourselves, that's the hardest thing, because there's a lot of people who's on the info, they sound like they real smart, and they not even living right, They not eating right, or they got vices, horrible vices, like they not taking care of the children, they doing trifling stuff they got no business doing. They got drug issues, they, abusing their girl or something like that. You got people out here who are like online acting like they're smart and they on it, but they still got issues that you should have mastered. You shouldn't be abusing your children, or you shouldn't have somebody else raising your children. You should be raising them. You should master that stuff. These are simple things that you really should have down. And so a lot of people are still dealing with problems like that. Okay? And that's another thing, like with the temple, you're supposed to be in there, you're supposed to be practicing this stuff so you can master that. So you can be doing what you're supposed to be doing, and then, okay, let's take it to another level. Now, collectively, we need to build the community up. Okay? And so that stuff's important. You can't skip that. You skip that, it's not going nowhere because the people are still weak. They're still not where they're supposed to be. We're supposed to be strong. The communities came under attack. Even in the 70s, 80s, community had been attacked, but it was still together. And then after crack came through, we were down to do things that we would have never done, collectively. Okay, that stuff came through. That was like one of the things that after studying us, they found something that could really mess us up and have Asiatics doing stuff they had no business doing. And so yeah, we came under attack. And I'm saying we got crack babies, like my generation. Okay, this grown-ups, that's not really living right. You got to master that stuff, man. It does matter. It does. You can't skip over that. Okay? Okay, so don't be so anti-religion. We went over the definition of religion. You need to master that, bro. You need to master that. You need to have a pursuit of something that is of supreme importance to you. You need to have goals. You need to know what you're going to do. You need to be about that life. You need to live that life. I'm thinking people are getting it. You need to go on and get in the temple. If there is no temple near you, you need to join the temple and start one near you. Get started towards your Muslim mission so that you can build one where you're at and build with other Moors, not getting together to get high. Let's get together just to talk about the history and all these different things. No, you need to get together and you need to do business. That's it. All right? We're not getting together to talk about, the ancients, how we been here for millions of years. We getting together to build business, handle business. And once you got your finances, you're doing what you're supposed to do. Okay, we need to start participating in politics. We need to start getting laws and things done for us, for real, not this fake stuff that people's talking. You need to build, and that's it. Like Ricardo said, nation building. That's it. That's what the Filipinos are doing. That's what the Chinese are doing. That's what everyone else does when they're over here. Okay? I'm not saying nobody, mess around, fool around. I'm just saying you need to get together and build. We're not getting together just to talk stuff that we already know. Talk each other's heads off. Talk about how great the Moors were. Talk about how we from Lemuria and all this. No. Business. That's what the temple's for. Closed door meetings. Business. Boom. You got this going. We can at least trade with each other in other temples. That's why you're going to need to go on and set them up everywhere you're at. And that's why you don't need to be like, this sheik was rude. Okay. Join. Get in there. If you can work with them. And then if he ain't doing what he's supposed to do, get him out. All right? For real. You're in the temple. They're not building businesses and being productive and doing what they're supposed to do. Get in there and show how it's done. Nobody else is going to do it. What are you waiting for? Who's going to come and save you? Do you really want Superman to come in with a cape and save you? You have to do it, man. You don't have to be Superman. You just have to be active and busy. Not busy, but productive. Okay? And especially the people who know it all, so much, get in there and show them how it's done. Right? They stagnant, get in there, do it. Maybe you need to start your own. Fine. But you need to get in there and make it happen. Because this is what's set up. This is what was set up for us. You need to work through this religious society. Okay? I don't care if you filed 50,000, pages of paperwork. It's not good enough. And that's it. All right. And so I'm gonna get on off of here because I could keep going forever, but I got work to do. But look, that's what it's about. So everybody that watch this, share it. Don't watch this without sharing it because this information needs to get out there. Plain and simple. The people need to stop talking that corny, stupid, cornball foolishness, talking anti-temple jargon, whatever. Y'all need to stop. It's deaded now. Y'all whack. All right, because you can't be about the paperwork and you're not about the business work. It's not going to work. You can't make them bow down to you. Physically, you're not in a position. You need to build your nation up. So stop. Stop acting like filing, getting your case dismissed is building a nation. Stop it. These people are lame. They know all they got to do is share a story of somebody beating some cases, beating some drug charges, and be like, we got this more off, and y'all happy. That's how lowly they think of you. The government officials who are a part of these black ops programs who are here to stagnate us for longer, they think so lowly of you. They like, look, share that post of them getting dude off. And just be like, Moore's getting them off. And that's all they have to do. And y'all like, see, we winning out here. You winning because this Moore just beat his drug charges? Really? That's building a nation? You're a fool for believing that. You're a sucker for believing that. Get out of here with that mess. Dead it. It's corny. It's whack. If you got, problems and vices, fix that stuff on the low. Don't put it out there on the internet so everybody know that you had charges, that you got felonies and stuff like that. Handle that stuff on the low and be upstanding, be noble, be upright, man. Carry yourself to a higher standard. Fix yourself first, or none of this works. If you got the problems from the crack era and you trying to bring it into the new world, you're going to have to be X'd out too because you're a part of the problem. Like the brother said, you have to level up. It's fixing self. Just like you're told in the Holy Quran. All right? You have to fix yourself. You have to study yourself. You're the cause of your own issues. It's not the European. And especially at this point in time, it's us. We keep perpetuating it. It's time to dead it. Like I said, I could keep going. It's time to dead it. We got to dead it. I'm really not trying to pass this foolishness on to my children. That's the only reason I'm speaking to you. I care. I want you to get it so that we can collectively end this mess. It's stupid to keep going along with it. Dead it. And don't talk about how, you got turned off because how the other Moors in the temple was acting. Dude, build it. Make it better then. Do your part. Like dude said, no, I got to level up. Yeah, I'm not trying to act like I'm superior or nothing. We all got to do it. Everybody got to put in the work, but you got to do it off the internet. That's the thing. We see the internet. It's all you see. So, it's not real. You got to do it off the internet. You got to build. You got to get that business, man. That's really the only thing that matters. That's the most important thing. If we're not doing what we're supposed to do offline, handling business, we're not doing nothing. And so if people, are talking about beating cases and stuff like that, they ain't talking about nothing. What's beating cases got to do with building a nation? Okay? Filing paperwork. There's no reason on earth you should be sending your declaration, okay, to the president of the United States with your thumbprints on it and telling him how you came from ancient Lemuria and all this stuff and telling them everything. They don't need to know what's up in here. That's how they got you fooled with the social media. Everything's called a profile. What does law enforcement do? They profile you. Now they don't have to, investigate you, go interview everybody and go backtrack in your life so that they know what you're about to profile you. They could just look at your page. You profile yourself. And so no, you shouldn't be sending these declarations off talking about all the stuff that you know. Where are you from? We the ancients and we back. Maybe they don't need to know that. Maybe they need to think you just, regular, And you definitely don't need to be putting your thumbprint on it and sending it to the president. If you've done that stuff, I don't know what to tell you, but don't do that stuff. If you thinking about it, don't. Forget all that mess. Just join the temple. Prophet set it up. He didn't have you sending off the declarations. You don't need to. Okay? Look it up. I'm not going to tell you why. Religious society. Look it up. It's real. We had a right to do it. You can proclaim. That's it. You don't have to pay nobody $500, $1,000, $50. Some people think real low of themselves. They charging $50 to do your paperwork. You don't need to pay these people. Okay? All right? And so that's it. For real. That's it. Just share this. Okay? And let's collectively be prosperous. And let's dead all the foolishness. Just by being prosperous. That's what they scared of. Okay? And so, shout out to everybody that came in. You know, sorry if we didn't answer questions. I didn't answer questions and stuff because this stuff just had to get out there. People need to know this. I had to say this. And, do share this, though. All right? And just keep that in mind, okay? On that note, it's all love. I come to you in love, and that's really it. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't even share this. I just do me, okay? And that's it. You know, it's not about bragging. We don't have to tell people what we're doing. All right, the Chinese Association, you know, and the different associations in New York and in LA and shit. They don't tell people what they're doing. They just do it. All right, we're not doing anything illegal, so it can't be attacked. And that's how we move. Those that know. And that's really it. You see the videos at the bottom. Look through the videos. A lot of these people, all these people that we've talked to, nobody's against the temple. Remember that. Okay? And just hit like and share. And on that note, finally out. Y'all enjoy your day. Be productive. Get out there and hustle. All right? So on that note, I'm out. Y'all peace and love.